One of the keys to planning an epic Disney World vacation is understanding Orlando's weather. We're going to help you with some tips and tricks to understanding all of that and the hurricane season coming up next. Hey there, this is Jones with One Stop Mouse, and we're going to help you understand Orlando's weather and the implications with planning a Disney World vacation. So you've got two U.S. parks. Disneyland in Southern California, which is a Mediterranean climate, hot but dry. And then you have Caribbean weather at Disney World, which has a lot of moisture in the air and tropical storms and even a hurricane season. There are three seasons at Disney World, basically. You have summer, hurricane season, and winter. Summertime, it's like a jungle. Extreme humidity, extreme heat. Imagine yourself being in Mexico. What do? They take a siesta during the day to get out of the extreme heat of the day. Well, the tip for you between May and October, which is the summer season, is to get the heck out of the heat. So how do you do that? Not that complicated, but a little bit when you're getting excited about which fast passes you can get and everything. Here's how you do it. Get out to the parks, hit those rides that you want to hit early in the morning, no matter what you have to do. Get there at rope drop when the park opens. If you're staying at a Disney resort and you can get extra magic hours on a particular day, get in a little bit earlier for that. If they have, like they've had at Hollywood Studios, an event where you pay extra money for extra magic hours early in the morning to get in a few hours before everybody else, do that. It really makes your vacation so much more fun. You have no idea when you don't have to barrel through a week-long vacation with humidity and heat. It drains you. Figure out how to do what you can do on that day by noon and then get the heck out of the park. And what do? Well, go back to your hotel if you're staying at a Disney resort. Relax at the pool. There are amazing pools. The Beach Club resort with sand in the pool and this pirate ship. I mean, you can have a really good time. You can cool off, do that. You could reserve a table service lunch meal and get out of the heat. And you could go to one of the many attractions and shows that are indoors where it's cooler and air conditioned. Finding Nemo show is amazing. Having that table service lunch. If you have a table service lunch in the summer, it can help you in more than one way. It's not only a nice break for you and your family to get out of the heat, but table service meals are more deluxe and they're sit-down meals in a nice atmosphere. Instead of doing that for breakfast and dinner, where you want to maximize your time because that's when you're trying to hit the parks when it's cooler, don't do it for breakfast and dinner. Do it at lunch when you want to get out of the heat. So you have a quick breakfast, get out like I said, do what you got to do, come back, have that long lunch, then you hit the parks again, you have a quick dinner and keep going. Maybe go to Casey's and get a hot dog or something. And then lastly, these deluxe meals, very, very good. Wonderful restaurants at Walt Disney World Resort. Of course, the lunches that are fabulous are less expensive than the fabulous dinners, so you save money too. For the summertime, before you even get to the park, you want to pack light colored shorts and t-shirts. Yes, they talk about a dress code at some of the restaurants, but there really isn't a dress code. They just don't want you looking like a slob. So if you want to throw in a button-down shirt or a sundress, just to get a little bit more fancy, that's fine. But it's really about light-colored shorts and t-shirts. If you're a hiker or an athlete and you happen to have quick dry shorts and t-shirts, that's great to take as well. And a lot of children's clothes have the UV resistance to stop that from getting to your child. If you have that for your kids, take that. If you have anything like that, take that as well. Pack ponchos and umbrellas. It's not just about the heat in the summertime at Disney World, it's about the rain. So there are two reasons actually that you're trying to go indoors between usually 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. each day. And that's because it's a tropical environment and it's not only hot and humid, but that humidity is building to a daily downpour every day between 1 and 4 as well. The only thing good about that, really, besides for irrigation, is that once it rains, it cools off a little bit. So, but expect that. I myself am not a poncho person. When it's very hot and very humid, I don't like clothing myself in a poncho, so I always take an umbrella. Be aware when you've got fast-moving thunderstorm systems and maybe even the edges of tropical storms or the edges of a hurricane or something, winds can whip up and those tiny little packable umbrellas the little metal pieces are a little fragile, and I've gone through some trips where I've gone through a few of them, usually 1 or 2 of mine and another one of Disney's that only lasts for 1 day on the next trip. So if you've got a few of those little packable umbrellas, take all of them. You may well need them. Hydrate. Drink, and drink some more. And then drink some more just for the heck of it. Trust me, this is mid-June when I'm recording this right now, and about a week and a half ago, I was at Epcot doing a live stream, and in 3 hours time, I literally saw that many people, 3 people, hit the deck, and there were paramedics coming in to basically get people out of there. Disney World is a wonderful place with so many things to do, usually more than you can fit in one trip. And when it's hot, when it's the summer, it's not just kids that are excited, it's big kids too. And you're running around and you're not taking care of yourself. You gotta have a hat, not like this, more like this, that'll keep the sun off of your head and keep you cool with some air movement. Watch out for your kids as well. Your kids are all excited and running around. They're not gonna give themselves a break. You've gotta give them a break. Also with hydration, there are electrolyte additives that really do help too. I'm a big fan of those. I will scoot in a picture of the one that I like right now that I got off of Amazon that I've been using for a while. There are powders and stuff as well, but I put in a little tiny cap full of these drops and add it to whatever water. Doesn't have that much of a taste, but it does help. You want to keep those electrolytes balanced too. Cooling towels. They're these little sort of lightweight towels that you dampen in a water fountain and put around your neck or drape over your head, and they evaporate quickly and it has a cooling effect. For the cooling towels, go to Dollar General or Amazon before you go to the parks and get cooling towels. Get a few for yourself, get a bunch for your family, and they're very inexpensive. If you go to the park and buy them there, they're a lot more expensive. Otherwise, it is nice to have, the Mickey ears all over them, but they're expensive. Cold snacks at the park. There are a lot of cold snacks and a lot of cold drinks at the park. You can take advantage of them. I like that. That's great. I'm a big sucker for Dole Whips. Anytime I could drink a Dole Whip, that's a good time. Mickey bars, slushies, drinks. Be careful though. When it's summer and you're going through all this jungle regimen that I'm talking about, they now, in the last 2 years, they've been introducing alcohol to the parks. So you can go and you could be at the Polynesian and get a Dole Whip with rum in it. And there are other things like that. Don't drink too much alcohol during the middle of the day to complicate the heat element. Summer rain. As I said, May through October, not only is it super hot between 1 and 4 in the afternoon, there's a good chance it's going to rain, not just all during the day or some parts during the day, but especially as those thunder clouds build between 1 and 4 each day, a summer downpour. Not only should you work on packing ponchos and umbrellas to bring with you, but also think about footwear. You're walking a lot. Dry feet is a good thing. When your feet are wet, they're more prone to blisters. You'd be amazed if you tracked how many miles you walk through the parks that you're walking. You're basically going on a big hiking trip, and many times, especially the dad, you're wearing a backpack with 20 pounds of stuff in it. So be careful about that. I wear athletic shoes and socks now, so I bring extra socks because dry feet is better for avoiding blisters. Okay, here it is. This is the one everybody's waiting for. Hurricane season. Hurricane season. We're talking about May through October. The majority of the hurricanes that affect Florida are really August through October. Each year there is about half a dozen storm systems that pop up in the Caribbean, and some of them make landfall, some don't. Statistically, over time since they've recorded hurricanes, there are very small odds of a hurricane affecting your trip. However, if you were to look at the stats for like the last 4 years, that would be a little bit different, because it seems that, as you see in the news, hurricanes are affecting Florida a lot more. What do I have to say about that? Well, go to Disney's website, check it out. Look at what it has to say about their hurricane policy, about the refund policy. I will say for Disney, I think that they're great in so many ways, but I literally had one of my trips affected by a hurricane that wasn't even in Florida. It was affecting relatives in Houston, Texas. And they basically let me get a full refund just mere days before this massive trip, a lot of money back. So if they're having a hurricane in Florida and you want to cancel your trip, I can't speak for them, but I would bet that they're going to be very, very reasonable. If you decide to go and there is some kind of threatening hurricane, or if something kind of scoops up and all of a sudden hits it that wasn't supposed to go in that direction, just be aware. Walt Disney World Resort is one of the safest places, if not the safest place, to be in the state of Florida that there is. There are a lot of people who live in Florida that literally, when a hurricane's going to hit, they go to Walt Disney World Resort. Their building standards are higher at Walt Disney World Resort than the rest of the state. Every window in the place is hurricane resistant to like 150 mile an hour winds. They have all of these policies and safety things in place. I've heard lots of stories from people I know who got stuck in the resort, and they literally bent over backwards, had free movies in the rooms, you know, all night long when the guests were stuck and all the characters came in, and they really bent over backwards. In one case, I think it was during Irma, they let people who came to the resort to get out of the storm bring their animals, which they never do. So if you do get stuck there, it's not going to be as bad as you think. Winter. November through March are our last of the 3 seasons. The big thing about winter at Walt Disney World is you can't really figure out one day to the other. One day it could be a high of 49 degrees. The next day it's a high of 85 degrees. So what do you do with that? You need to be prepared. You need to pack for layers. Okay, this is my plan. During winter, I wear a long pair of hiking pants from Walmart, not a big expense, a Disney t-shirt, and a heavy-duty fleece that I either tie around my waist or have in a backpack and put on. It's gonna be cold in the morning, it's gonna be cold at night, it's gonna heat up during the day. So you're basically putting on and taking off stuff to deal with that. Be aware, there have been times when I've been at Walt Disney World, November through March, when it's been pretty cold. One time I remember standing at Hollywood Studios after the park closed at like 9 something at night, and I was in a down jacket with a hood on, and I was freezing. And another time I was camping at the Fort Wilderness Resort and I was in a tent and it went down to 20 degrees. So be prepared for it to be wintry or not wintry. You can't really tell. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've got any tips or tricks for surviving the weather and the hurricanes at Walt Disney World Resort, please let us know. If you would, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell for notifications so you can be informed of future videos. Tell your friends about us and come back and see us.
See you real soon!
Why? Because we like you.